All right, let's see. So today is Thursday. Today's not Thursday. Let's try that again. Today is Tuesday, 6:30, and I barely looked at the chart. Let's see what happened today. I looked at 9:30 very briefly, and honestly, I couldn't make heads or tails of it. So let's go back in time and see what we could have done if we had the chance. So, created a nice bearish order block. This level, I expected it to come. I said it would be a great opportunity for it to come up here and drop because it's a 5-minute. I expected it to have some strength, had some decent size. But the more I look at it, the more I realize that see, what does that look like on the 5-minute? Okay. So realistically, it should have been all the way down to here. Okay. This definitely needs work. Order block should be down to here. It's 126. Which would have put the mean threshold of this order block so this would have been the mean threshold of this order block. Not that it matters, it's something to work on later for the sake of... Okay. So we had a rejection so far today. Not the first sting, but rejection of this bearish. Oh, into the 50%. That's interesting. Which made it come down there. Okay. This is a balanced price range. Why is this a balanced price range? I have no idea why this is a balanced price range. Let me see. What if I take this off? I don't have the, okay, an FVG. There's a daily FVG there. Alright, let's try that a different way. I see now. That's a balanced price range because your fair value gap is here to here. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Very well. So on the daily, on the 4-hour, so actually let's go back to the daily. On the daily, we're saying that this came back into the gap, and the gap was looking rather bullish. Except the gap had been bearish, but it was inverted after it passed, so it became bullish. Very well. Reaching back into the gap. Interesting. Okay. What else? Reaching back into the gap. Still expected this to not... Okay, here we go. This was your reasoning here. This tap into the gap. 6 p.m. Boom. No. Boom. Boom. Okay. So the gap is what made it bullish. Very well. Also have this fair value gap, which we're still inside of the 4-hour. Okay. 1 hour. So we have ourselves a new day opening gap, which is bullish. Boom, boom. Couldn't print through it. Oh, which is interesting, because it means that we might try to. Interesting. Kept wicking through it, but not closing into it. Interesting. Okay. And then 8 a.m. And this is your rejection. 9 a.m. I see. Excuse me. Okay. So then what? This was the latest sting, 8:30, 9 o'clock. You wicked down into it. So you came up. Now I see why you came up so much. Because you don't just have the gap, you have this. And does that show on the 1 minute? Yes, you do. On the 1 hour, you have this fair value gap too. Okay. Yeah. That'll do it. Fair value gap there. Plus your bullish. Okay. What about the 15 minute? What do you see here? Okay. Still have your gap wicking too. Okay. Alright, let's get a little bit more speedy with this, because market's about to open again. So this does look like it's trying to come down. I may need to spend this weekend fixing my bearish order block indicator. Or maybe tomorrow morning. We'll see. Well, that's probably a weekend job, actually. Or a Friday job. Okay, very well. Did paint a body, finally, into the new day opening gap. I think we're still coming. So you would say that, well, you have this fair value gap here. You have a 15 and a 1 hour. Okay. 15 minute and 1 hour, plus you have your Asia low down here at 940. Okay. All right. So now we get down to this business here. 2-bar reversal in the gap. Oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah, this is really interesting. It's your NYPM, Tokyo. Okay, what's first thing? First thing you do is you somehow find a way to reject the 50% on this tiny 24-point gap. You reject the the consequent encroachment of that, and then you take off. Okay, this is a trend continuation. Let's say something. I wanted to see, my plan was to see this come up to, I wanted to see what happened here, then I wanted to see what happened here, and then I figured there'd be rejection here. It also didn't have, I said NYAM, it'll disappear anyway and create a new one. So I said this was Euro. I didn't expect it to go up any more than that. We had midnight, Euro, Tokyo. I honestly thought about getting in prior to the market open just to ride it up to there, which would have been pretty decent. Man. But I said, you know what, let me just leave it alone. Dangerous play. I was on paper anyway, but still I thought it was a dangerous play. I wanted to see it come to there, and I said, worst comes to worst, in this area, it should reject and come back down. But it's not what happened. Instead, you had a continuation. Came here, I said now, it's getting ready to turn around and need some sort of confirmation. This was looking kind of juicy to me. It definitely came all the way down here. Honestly, I thought that this was ready to go. I thought that this was ready to go down, fill the rest of the gap. But it said, nope, we're not doing that today. It said, we are not doing that today. And I was surprised because this had prior gap overlap. And I think the red is more likely to get filled on the three or more. 2 or fewer is likely to get edged. 3 or more seems more likely to get filled. Yeah. I also said here, at the rejection of this bearish order block, there's a good chance it rejects. It did not do that, and it validated. And I said, maybe there's still a chance. It just ran away anyway. I was looking for the turnaround, especially considering we had swept this high. These highs were an option, but I didn't think of them as an option. I mean, I couldn't imagine this happening. I just absolutely could not have. I had nothing to suggest that this was going to happen. This was the breakout of breakouts. Started to stall here. I thought it was going to turn around. I honestly have no idea what happens here. I think I tried to get in for a short some around here, and then I got distracted. And I had to exit because I was being way too distracted. The macro happened. That would have taken me out, because obviously I would have put my stop here anyway. So, continuation. Let's go back and see if there was anything suggesting maybe. Yep, we have 786, 236 on the long term. We don't have an intermediate term fib, which is interesting. Okay, let's see. Yep, this comes down to, hold on, let's go back and try that again. I might have to cut this short, actually. Let's see. Yep, 382 rejection. Yeah, there's just nothing there. This was just a breakout day. I had nothing to suggest it was a breakout day, which honestly may tell me that it's just going to fall this evening. The macro, what'd you do? You just ran. I had nothing to suggest that it was going. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a 10 a.m. reversal. That didn't happen either. I was looking for this to come down or even go up a little bit to sweep. That's not what happened. It just kept going up, looking like it was going for all-time highs at this rate. I don't think it quite made it. Honestly, it's so close it might even make all-time highs just to sweep and plummet tonight, but we're also running out of time. I had no idea what to do with this macro. There's nothing I could have done. Absolutely nothing. I'll go to the 1050 macro, but I literally had no idea what to do here. I might have to revise this just to look and see if there's anything that I could have made out of this, but I had no idea how to trade this today. It did the exact opposite of what I expected. Down, maybe comes down here and sweeps to go back up at this rate. Maybe you have an entry here. Yeah. That looks like that's fizzling out. I trailed that pretty gently. It'll probably take me out too. Oh, yeah, probably soon. It's inching in that direction. Maybe. I definitely didn't trade this. I wouldn't have. I mean, honestly, I would have maybe trailed this to the intermediate term lows, and then depending on how greedy I was feeling, maybe you get in here, 321, 60 points. Oh, look at that! And then it goes up. You could have made something out of this after all, because you're so bullish on the day. This was a hold there. You could have made something out of that because you were so bullish all day. Look at that. I would have trailed this pretty mightily, considering. So I actually could have made something today, starting at the 1050 macro. All right, let's pick up the speed because after getting chopped up at 9:30 because I had the wrong bias. But yeah, all right, and this just kept going. And honestly, somehow, oh, this is gonna fall. There's a lot of trend line liquidity. It looks like to me, that LRLR as they say, and this is looking like it's trying to come back down. All right, that's